Welcome back to the Quiet on Set podcast. I'm Young Gruff, and as always, I'm joined by Lachlan Teely.
On episode 187, everything is back to normal again, but we have, very little to talk about this week because there's nothing major and there's nothing crazy in the news, but at least there's no bad news this week.
No bad news, and like you said, no big releases, so we are going to catch up on some films that we missed, some smaller releases. So that's the plan for today.
Yeah, that's right. So we don't have a major topic, so we're just trying to catch up on some films that we've missed out on. So we're going to talk about Atlas, we're going to talk about Evil Does Not Exist, Anyone But You, and Sasquatch Sunset. What a fucking lineup of movies to talk about. Very different.
Interesting assembly of different types of films. But yeah, let's cue up that intro and get into the show. We are professionals.
This is a professional podcast.
Yes. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Hello there. Which actually,
Did you
this
get
is gonna
me a
be
hat
a
as
bit,
well?
Yes.
So I've got Dooncam. It's just a camera with my Dune steelbook.
All right, welcome back, Lachlan. I've had a bit of time to sleep. Our last podcast recording isn't even a week old. You know, it was like a quick turnaround for that other one. I'm still doing gun stuff. I haven't even done like a full 65 movie breakdown yet. That's hopefully out before this episode comes out. But yeah, I've just been also very busy myself. I don't know how you've been doing the last couple of days.
Fine. Obviously I'm doing better than what you're doing. If you're struggling,
I'm not doing.
you're
I'm
okay.
alright.
You're okay.
Yeah, no,
You
I'm
sure?
alright. I'm alright. Yeah.
You look
Yeah.
tired.
I am a bit tired because my cat has been kind of relentless with our wake up time, which is around 6 a.m. at the latest for him at the moment, and he just stands outside the door and just keeps meowing until I get up and pet him. So it's been a bit tough to catch up on some sleep, but I've had the occasional 1 or 2 naps during the day as well. So I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.
Yeah. Did I tell you? I don't think I told you. I got a new camera lens.
What kind? For which of your 17 different cameras did you get a camera lens for?
For my Sonys. Thank you very much.
The Alpha 7 III or 4, or which one do you have?
Well, I used it on the R3 today, but I got myself a Sony
zoom lens. Is that a zoom lens?
50 mil. No, 50 mil 1.4.
That is a big old guy for a 50 mil prime lens.
Well,
that's a lot of glass.
This is my to compare it. This is the 50, right? This is the 50.
Yeah.
This is my 35.
I mean, they seem to be. Is that both by Sigma?
These are both by Sigma. Lenses? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is my 85. She's so cute. Look at her. Yeah, look how cute she is, right? Yeah. But no, I grabbed a 50 mil. I've got plenty of I've got a 24 to 70, so that kind of nails me for every single range. But I really like primes. I really like prime lenses, and that's just, I guess, the movie guy in me who likes to pick a lens and stick with it, and it makes me less lazy when I'm shooting because I have to really think about what lens I want to use, not just all right, cool, on the go, blah 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 blah. Right? So that's all. That's just what I want because it's a short episode. I thought I'd share. This is my new baby. So yeah, I got a lens.
Yeah, you got a lens, and oh god. So Lachlan, we're gonna talk a bit about a couple of news, which are mainly casting news, and I'm gonna let you take the lead on this. But Wake Up, Dead Man. Knives Out 3 has been adding cast members.
I thought this was a Pirates of the Caribbean title.
It does kind of sound like what was it called? Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah.
Is that the okay. But no, Daniel Craig is returning, right? And we got a couple other people also joining the cast.
Yeah, man, we got heaps of people. Here's a little long list of people that's currently on record for being in this film. So we've got Daniel Craig. Shocker, didn't see that one coming. But we've got Andrew Scott, Josh O'Connor, Kaylee Spaney, Kerry Washington, Jeremy Renner, and Mila Kunis is the most recent one that we've seen. That is already a massive cast, and I'm sure there is more to come. Ewan, who do you want to see in this film?
Mike Feist and Zendaya, and it's just when Josh O'Connor and them just having a little challenges movie on the side.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Feel
then I would also like to have After Sun actor. What's his name?
Paul Mescal. Yeah.
Paul Mescal. That's right. Along with Andrew Scott, and they're having a little romance on the side as well. How about that?
Well, I would want Daisy Edgar Jones in there as well, so they can reenact their stuff from normal people. They just announced like a fundraiser for a reshowing of all 12 episodes of Normal People for suicide prevention, and they'll like host a screening for that, and that's they reunited. So Paul Mescal, Daisy Edgar Jones, I'd love to have them in there. But no, being for real here, I feel like Andrew Scott, Josh O'Connor, Kelly Spaney especially are like new up and coming people. I mean, Andrew Scott has been around, but he has never been in the limelight as much as he has been in the last couple of years. I feel like you get the appreciation.
And yet to reach his biggest thing, he's still got Gladiator 2.
That's yeah, he's in that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but that's not out yet.
Yeah. But Kaylee Spaney, she's been in a ton of stuff. I mean, she started with, well, probably didn't start with, but Devs, for a lot of people in 2020, but she'll also be in the new Alien film. Josh O'Connor, I don't know what else he's got coming up, but I mean, you obviously really loved him in La Quimera. I even ran into him when we went gun last year. So, lots of people that are quite exciting. And then Jeremy Renner, post snowplow accident, is back to, is this his first acting gig after his accident? I think it is, right? Yeah.
Probably.
Do you think we'll get like a ton more here, or another like really big name, or do you think you're gonna round it out? Because like the cast is fairly young, I'd say, at the moment. There's no one like really old in it yet, and usually they have the one or two older ones that they had in like the first one. The second one less. Do you feel like, we don't know anything about the plot yet, but what do you think Wake Up Dead Man could entail?
Well,
like rich people again?
Have we missed out on saying, because on IMDb we've also got Glenn Close, Lindsay Lohan, and Tom Hardy all on here as well.
I think they were all rumored. I didn't see that they were confirmed yet, but yeah, that would make sense if they. I mean, by the time this releases, it is likely, and I'll add in like a couple more names right now if these were people that were also announced in the time that this was in edit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Nice Side. I feel like Glass Onion was quite fun. Although I don't know if you saw it, but on X, on Twitter, when they announced this, I feel like people were reacting in a way like, oh, another Knives Out movie, where I don't know what it is about like a franchise hitting free, but people are getting more critical the further you get into a franchise, even if it hasn't had like I don't think a bad movie yet. So
well, name a movie in a series where the third one's the best.
Final Destination.
The fuck off.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
What's the third Harry Potter?
Prisoners of Azkaban.
Okay, no, yeah, fair. You found one. Well done. You found one. Yeah. You found one.
Mm-hmm.
How much money did Glass Onion make?
Star Wars prequel. Well, the thing is, it only had that really short
Star Wars
window.
Prequels.
I'm kidding.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I am the high ground, Anakin.
You were like, the prequels are all like the what? Are you talking about? Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. Look, I have seen those movies, I think, once. I like, when you go to my generation's nostalgia picks, Star Wars would be in there. I never cared for Star Wars when I was younger, so I didn't have that nostalgia at all. And I don't remember the movie very much, to be honest. But I just wanted to have a quick jab in there. But what were we talking about? Done. We were talking about something else.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about the next topic. Move away from
Sure,
this.
We can move on. But hey, I hope this kind of slightly moves away from rich people. The first one was rich people in a house. Next one was rich people in a glass house. I don't know what this next one is going to be. What kind of house we're getting with rich people. Maybe we are out at sea. Imagine they are on a boat and it's like a whole spoof of Pirates of the Caribbean. You never know. It could be set on a yacht the whole entire time, or on a cruise ship. Imagine a cruise ship, and yeah, all possible. Yeah, there was a young Sherlock Holmes series ordered for Prime Video with Guy Ritchie set to direct it, and Hero finds Tiffin set to star as the young titular Sherlock Holmes. And Lachlan, between the two of us, you are definitely the bigger Guy Ritchie fan. I'm not too big on him, to be honest. In his last couple of projects that he's been a part of, I feel like his best one was the Gentleman series on Netflix earlier this year. I think that was pretty solid. But yeah, Young Sherlock, obviously like its own standalone series as well of novels, right? That is not just like flashbacks from the Sherlock Holmes cases, but it's its own thing. I never read any of that. I'm not too familiar, but with Guy Ritchie set to direct, Lachlan, is that something that although Prime hasn't had a great track record of adapting stuff, look at Lord of the Rings, are you more confident that Guy Ritchie is going to direct this in the right direction?
Is this going to be like Young Sheldon?
Yes, it's Sherlock, but he's clearly now autistic.
Okay, sweet. No worries. I don't know if I can call myself the bigger Guy Ritchie fan, because I think I've missed out on all of his recent releases, and you've seen all of them.
Well, that's just my mental thing
I
that I got
you could possibly be the bigger Guy Ritchie fan.
Okay. Well, you are more familiar with his past work, and I feel like you liked it more than I did. So it's more like an appreciation more than a connoisseur who knows all of the stuff that they've released, I guess. But look, I'll check this out.
Do me a favor.
But, for me, it's a non thing. I always watch that stuff.
Go to this link. Go to this fucking link right now.
Okay. Lachlan's sending me a link. Stand by. Okay, what's your number in the Guy Ritchie thing? How many movies have you seen?
What's your percentage? What's your percentage?
52?
38 with me. You are the bigger fan. You are the bigger fan.
Okay. Fair enough. So you haven't seen, I assume, Wrath of Man, The Covenant?
I haven't seen Wrath of Man, Covenant, Operation Fortune, and Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah. That's fair. I, for example, haven't seen Lovestock and Two Smoking Barrels, which I feel like a Guy Ritchie fan has to have seen that. So I've just seen the latest couple of films, and maybe also because I 3 weeks ago watched The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Am now higher up in the list than I should be. But dude, I mean, there's not too many more movies that are missing until we can justify making a bracket for The Man. I mean, a smaller one.
I think I just have to see Rock and Roller. That's all I have to really see.
Which one? A Rock and Roller? Yeah, I haven't seen that one either. But The Man's got an interesting filmography that I feel like, unfortunately, is kind of a loop, and there's not really that much more beyond what he's kind of been repeating, doing in the same way for the last couple of years. So, but he did the Sherlock Holmes movies. Maybe I should have started with that. The ones with Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr. And yeah, I mean, Prime definitely has the money to back a series for young Sherlock with enough money to do the Guy Ritchie type style. I mean, he did that with The Gentleman, where there's also quite a bit of action in there. I'll watch it again. That means nothing because I check out pretty much everything. But yeah, would you watch this? Like, is this more interesting to you than his last couple of projects?
No, yeah, probably not.
Right. So I'm taking over as the Guy Ritchie fan then.
Not interested.
Okay. So Variety publishes these actors on actor series on their YouTube channel apparently twice a year. I only ever take notice when they do it for the upcoming films that are in conversation for the awards talk. But because the Emmy deadline is fast approaching, I think it might be today when we're recording this, or it might be at the end of June. I'm not entirely sure because it's the last day of May today for us. But they're doing a lineup of TV actors, and it's been interesting because that line has kind of been blurred. Because if you look at it, we got people like Jodie Foster and RDJ being in one of the pairings for their respective True Detective and The Sympathizer seasons. We also got John Hamm and Kristen Wiig in there, Brie Larson and Andrew Scott. Lots of interesting pairings, but obviously, Lachlan, you're gonna tune in for Chloe Sevigny and Kim Kardashian, right? That's gotta be your main bitch.
What's up with you today, man? What's up with you and your jokes today, brother? Making fun of Star Wars and then making me sound like a Kim Kardashian fan. Like you're really trying to get under my skin today.
Hey, baby got back.
Absolutely not.
Looking at the lineup, is there any pairing that you are looking forward to that you're gonna check out?
If I'm honest, it's a little bit boring, but really would be interested to see Foster and RDJ.
Same.
Tyler
That's
James
the biggest
Williams
draw.
and Anthony Mackie seems like a good one. And like maybe John Hamm, Kristen Wiig might have something fun to say. But that's the only ones I really like. Elizabeth Debicki and Emma Corrin would be a good one as well.
Yeah.
But that's all I've really got right now. Fuck it. No, I'm going to say it. Chloe and Kim might be the best fucking one this season.
Might be fun,
Who could have thunk?
Yeah. So I feel like the lineup is pretty all right. The thing is, like the projects that they're tied to, a lot of them aren't like that interesting. Like for example, maybe it's not a lot of like I'd say like quote unquote great TV in here, but a lot of it is like just ongoing property. And I don't know, maybe I'm off base there, but like there's also Anna Sawai and Tom Hiddleston. That could be an interesting pairing. I feel like they don't fuck up with the pairings usually. They got some interesting choices.
I guess they must be stretching like what classes on the TV.
Well, I feel like they go for the bigger names as well. Like for example, it makes a ton of sense to have Quinta Brunson here because she acts in Abbott Elementary, but she also is, I think, the showrunner and writer. Or I don't know if she's the showrunner, but she writes for it as well. But yeah, maybe it's just because I'm looking at this and I know pretty much everything this is in reference to, and I've seen most of the shows that they are in, and maybe that's just like my brain rotting thing of having consumed so much media this year. But I'll tune in. I'll have a look. But usually these are kind of nice to listen to the conversation, and then like one complements the other on their project, and then you become interested in the project and you end up watching it. And it's not going to be the case for me this year. Not too bad for the 20th season of this show.
I guess who were you talking about that acted and produced, was it?
Quinta Brunson.
Okay. I guess you could say the same thing with Kim, because she also acts and leaked her own sex tape, so that's probably why she's on there.
That dude, that's so long ago. So long. The crazy thing is that Jennifer Aniston is paired up with Quinta Brunson, and I think the morning show is still happening.
I didn't even see Jennifer Aniston's name in this. Jesus.
Yeah, she's paired up with her.
Okay.
And she's on the morning show, and I think they've done that's like one of the only shows that I didn't watch the season of yet. Although I know it has wrapped like a month or two ago. It's on like Apple TV, and that show got a bit messy. It had a good first season, but then it just felt like they had big actors that wanted big moments, but I don't know if the story was like all there. But Tyler James Williams is also part of Abbott, and Abbott has been cleaning up, been eating good at the Emmys. And we'll talk about that actually later on, because I finished the third season of the show and I only have good things to say about it.
In some casting news this week, we knew that Ryan Gosling was signed on to this, but Sandra Hüller, star of Anatomy of a Fall from last year, has also now been casted in Project Hail Mary, which is being adapted by Phil Lord and Chris Miller for MGM Amazon. It's an adaptation of a novel set in space where a character wakes up after a coma and rediscovers that they're drifting off in space and they're there to save humanity. So that's the premise, that's the idea. Where it will go from there, great question. But already some great talent signed on for acting and adapting it.
Yeah, the writer behind The Martian, so we can expect a bit of humor maybe in there as well. I don't know if it's like completely a different style, but...
Best comedy.
Nicholas Galitzine is cast as He-Man in the live-action Masters of the Universe movie that's going to be in theaters on June 5th, 2026. He's been in the cast of a couple of films in the background that you might have noticed, like in Bottoms, but he has also had other appearances on that beloved Prime gay rom-com Red, White, and Blue, I think is what it was called. He's also, by the way, in that lineup for the season 20 of Actors on Actors.
Very good. Hayao Miyazaki's next film will be, quote-unquote, nostalgic action adventure. It's a quote from his son Goro, but it's not confirmed The Boy and the Heron did take 7 years to make, so we've still got plenty of time to speculate and wait, because Boy and the Heron isn't even out digitally for me yet, and I haven't been able to rewatch it, so we have no idea whether this is something that we should take with a grain of salt, or we should go, yes, this is his son. We should respect what he says, because he made one of the best Studio Ghibli movies ever, and has the exact same talent as his father.
You're talking about his son. Yeah, this was also on the back of, I guess, Studio Ghibli receiving an honorary palm at the Cannes Film Festival. So Goro was doing a bunch of interviews, and there was asked about what the next project for it would be. And by the way, The Boy and the Heron is out on digital on the 25th of June. So we don't have to wait for it too much longer, but it is a couple of weeks away. And he did famously say that Hayao Miyazaki, that once the whole run of the film is done, he'll start work on his next film. And I guess he's already kind of been doing that, but yeah, we don't know anything yet, and it's gonna take a while if we ever get this. I mean, if we get this in the 2020s, that would be crazy still,
Fantastic.
Then we also had a couple of trailers that we're briefly gonna take a look at. First up, Brad Pitt, George Clooney as wolves in Wolves. Well, they're not actually wolves, but this is out September 20th, and sees them both as these hitmen that are, I think the hitmen, that are supposed to, I guess, work together, although they don't want to, because they don't like each other. It's like, oh my god, I don't like you, but I have to kill people with you.
Did you watch the trailer? They're not Hitman at all. You got Hitman on your brain. You've been wanting to watch that movie forever.
I do want to see that movie again.
They're the guys that clean up. All I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Oh, they're the guys that clean up after that. Okay.
Yeah.
I honestly was not paying attention to this because it looked to me like two big name actors in a movie that's gonna be boring as fuck. But it has them in there, so there's a bunch of money thrown at it. To me, this didn't look interesting, but hey, Lachlan, you obviously don't like me saying that, so what about it was intriguing to you?
Well, first of all, Brad Pitt and George Clooney, like, come on, dude. I know they're big name actors,
I like
but
Brad Pitt more than George Clooney.
Alright, that's fine. Directed by, and again, hear me out, one of the greatest Marvel cinematic directors of all time, John Watts, for his Spider-Man series. Like, come on, let's be real here. This is a beautiful baby in works here. I think there's a possibility that this could be more successful than
the Fall Guy?
Furiosa.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's not really hard because that movie has not been
doing too well at cinemas, isn't it? No. Yeah. Look, I was gonna say it could be better than the Fall Guy in terms of like.
Wait, John Watts is doing the next Final Destination movie. This movie better do well. I care for Wolves now. Wolves is a great film, and John Watts is a great filmmaker. I see him attached to it. If I Google, it says like yeah. We definitely probably talked about this as well. No, he's not. I don't know why it said that, but no, apparently it's someone else.
What are you on about?
I don't know why it was. Google is lying to me. God damn it, misleading. I don't care about
Google.
Wolves.
Google's gonna lie to you, bro.
I don't care. I don't care about Wolves. I don't care about the film. No.
Okay.
No investment. I don't care about Final Destination.
He also directed Cop Car, whatever that means.
Yeah, I don't think before Kevin Bacon. The MCU. He had like big hits that people cared for. I mean, that movie made less than $200,000. So
it's not all about money, Ewan.
It is right? About
it's
for
all
the
money.
It's about money and getting your Nespresso from George Clooney.
He also made a Swedish house mafia music video. So this is the man who is going to save cinematic universe by releasing this film with two of the greatest 60-year-old actors of our 60. Are they both 60? No, they're both in their 50s. Clooney will be
definitely
60s,
has to be
right?
older. Yeah, he's got to be.
George
look,
Clooney.
I'm just not confident in the guy who directed Spider-Man to do comedy well. Just because I don't know. I haven't had a lot of faith.
He's not writing it. Is he writing it?
That is a good question. We are definitely prepared for the introduction of this film, huh?
You fucking bet we are. Okay.
No, he wrote it as well.
Great news. He is the sole writer on IMDb.
Yeah, I just opened that as well. Follows 2 lone wolves fixers
Okay,
who
so
are
George
assigned
Clooney
to
is
the same job.
63 and Brad
It's
Pitt
just...
is surely he's like 54. He's 62. They're both in their 60s. I told ya. I'm so good
That's
with numbers,
crazy.
baby.
It's good numbers, guy.
Yeah, I'm good with the numbers, baby.
Are you gonna? I mean, it's probably gonna be like
George just turned 63.
Okay, I thought that George for sure has to be older, but maybe that's just a gray hair that's a bit misleading. I'll definitely watch it, but again, for me that doesn't say anything, so it's got to be put to the test. Lachlan, you seem to be intrigued just by Brad Pitt and George Clooney alone. So yeah, luckily we're going to cover this one when it comes out in September. Then we got a teaser trailer for Moana 2, which I thought at some point they had said that's coming out like not this year. But I guess it is, because it said on November 27th, that's when this one is going to release. Lachlan, you described it as Wet Rock 2, because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in it, and I guess there's also Wet Rocks in it. First when you said it, I was really confused, but I gotta say, it looks pretty neat. It looks pretty stunning. I like it. I quite liked the first one. I didn't mind it. I thought it was one of the stronger Disney films. So I'm actually quite looking forward to this. If it's not just them adapting that series that they wanted to do into a feature-length movie, and it's not really there quality-wise, but it looks stunning. So I'm interested in this. And, I don't mind a good musical. Lachlan, what about you? Are you gonna skip out on this one? Have you even seen the first one?
That's what I was double checking. I have seen it.
He's not sure.
I've logged it. I've logged it on Letterboxd. I've seen it.
Okay, like just logging, or did you give it a rating as well, or?
I didn't give it a rating, but I can do it right now if you want.
Sure.
Do you want a live rating?
I don't remember.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's just randomly assigning it.
Oh fuck! It's 5 stars. I didn't mean to say. Okay, we're not doing it as 5 stars. It's getting a 3. It's getting 3 stars.
Look, for some reason I see when I on Letterboxd when I type it says Moana comes out in 2026. So I don't know what they're on about this movie being out in on November 27th, unless it's like 2 years from now.
Yeah.
But it says 2024 trademark down there November 27th. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit confused, but I'm gonna be there and watch this one.
Dude, it says release date the 27th of November 2024.
Yeah, I know.
So is it coming out this year?
It is. Yeah, I mean they just released a trailer.
What?
Yeah. But I thought they delayed it until like 2025 at some point. But if I check on Letterboxd, the one that's listed, Moana, which I don't know if this is like another different thing. Oh no, Moana, sorry. Okay, now I got it. So the thing that's 2026 is the live action adaptation of the first movie, but the sequel to it is coming out this year.
It's all coming together.
We figured it out.
I forgot that was a thing.
It's fucking messy though.
Oh my god, why are they doing a live action one? Okay, so they're gonna do a sequel. Does that mean by the time like there's the third? Okay, when was the first one done? 2016. So holy shit, that means it would have been 10. My god, Jesus, it's been a while.
Yeah. But it doesn't feel like a while ago because it's like 2016 and the movie feels modern. But yeah, I guess it's... but it's also like a quick turnaround to make an animated film into live action. But also, usually you don't... Yeah,
hey,
especially for
as long as they don't touch Treasure Planet or Atlantis and they leave those alone and they do these newer ones in live actions, I'm okay. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. And then I was already able to screen Kinds of Kindness in Gun, and Jesse Plemons won the Best Actor award there, deservedly so. This movie is not too far out. On June 21st is when it will release, and I'm very much looking forward to rewatching it and discussing it again. It's an anthology story. That's why, like, when you look this trailer, apart from Sweet Dreams Are Made of These, there's no real connecting tissue between the 3 different stories. Like, if you look at Jesse Plemons and track his haircuts, for example, they look like very different. They're not playing the same characters in these stories, and they get pretty bizarre and weird, more akin to Dogtooth, and less like the last couple of years of, which was still weird with Poor Things and The Favorite and The Lobster, but it's more in the lines of the Dogtooth way, just like none of this makes sense, but I guess he establishes a world that it makes sense for. And I like the trailer because it doesn't give away too much, which just goes to show that this movie is all over the place and odd. Yeah, Lachlan, did you make you more hype for it, or
I'm
no
already
more trailers
hyped
for
enough.
you, I assume, right?
No more trailers.
From what I saw in the trailers as well is I have that extension that shows you dislikes, and there's like over 100 dislikes on the trailer for it. So I guess people are not vibing with it for some reason, which I understand. It is a weird film, but yeah, it's gonna find its audience with the people who like Lantimos' weirder side. And then lastly, The Bear Season 3. We're not gonna talk about this further because Lachlan just informed me that he hadn't finished the second season of The Bear yet, so I don't want to spoil him, but it shows to be another really intense, thrilling, and yeah, very viscerally engaging series that it's all going to drop on the same day as well, by the way, on June 27th. I don't know about that strategy because I would like to, plan out my meals and space them out over a couple of days. But no, we are just getting an all-you-can-eat buffet for the third season of the show. Looks intriguing, and I assume it's going to pick up a bunch more awards and more fans along the way. The Bear would be surprised if it lets up in quality in the third season, although, like we discussed earlier today, what's good in the third film around in like a franchise? Maybe it's with series as well. Although I guess it would be harder to say like what show has where the third season is still the best season. Maybe, I don't know. That will be something that we need to prepare for. Is that the issue with Game of Thrones is that I don't know when storylines end season wise and when they begin.
Mr. Robot?
Because I haven't seen the third season of Mr. Robot. I've only seen the first two. Well, anyways, you can leave us a rating on Spotify. We appreciate those 5 stars that you can leave there. Subscribe on YouTube and leave a like, and maybe even use our links below for Amazon. It goes a long way to ensure that we can attend those festivals and make some time to watch the sheer amount of movies that we're going to talk about today. So without further ado, let's have a look at a couple of films that we watched this week. There's a couple of films that the two of us watched or have watched, so we're gonna talk about Sasquatch Sunset, Boy Kills World, Evil Does Not Exist, and Anyone But You. Lachlan, do you have a preference where you want to start?
I think that the order you've got it in is like pretty schmuck. So let's start with Sasquatch.
A Sasquatch Sunset comes from Nathan Zellner, I guess a brother duo that made this really bizarre film that had a lot of people weirded out at Sundance because it is essentially just a story about a family of Sasquatches based in the woods in the misty forests of North America, possibly the last of their kind, that embark on what they describe as an absurdist, epic, hilarious, and ultimately poignant journey over the course of 1 year. These shaggy and noble giants fight for survival as they find themselves on a collision course with the ever-changing world around them. It stars Riley Keough, Jesse Eisenberg. Those are the main two that we are staying with for the entire film. Well, I guess that's a slight spoiler there. And then Nathan Zellner, the director, is also in one of the Sasquatch costumes, as well as Christoph Zanek, as well as Christoph Zayek-Denik. Probably butchered his name. I'm very sorry for that. But Lachlan, I think we both kind of like this film, even though it is fairly bizarre and weird, and there's just like a bunch of shitting, pissing, fucking, and that's mainly the movie, right? I don't know what else is going on there. Or did you feel the existential dread that they feel in between those moments of seeking the I guess wild pleasures?
I think it's a really interesting film in a lot of different ways. I think that for some people who are experiencing big changes in their life, which at the moment I'm not, you could probably get a really good life-changing experience watching this movie, because this movie is about changes, how quickly they come, how unexpected they can be. There's a lot of really interesting and exciting themes in this film that you can kind of break down and enjoy. And in between that, yes, there is very in-your-face shitting, pissing, fucking, throwing that shit. death, love, family, loss. There's a lot that
sounds like
throws
a Fast
at
and
you.
Furious movie.
Yeah, fuck. In the sunset, the sun always wins. But what I would say is that the film isn't perfect. Like there is a point where the crazy over the topness wears off, and you're kind of left just watching this. But there are some really like just fun moments that you just sit there and they don't say anything. Like the characters don't talk, obviously, and they kind of just either grunt at each other or they look at each other, or just a teardrop falls down one of their eyes while they're listening to like a song in the middle of a forest because they've stumbled along a campsite. And that moment is just, terrifying and exciting and sad. And it's also such like a funny film. Like it just, because it's so absurdist, it just makes you kind of just go, what the fuck am I watching? Why am I watching this? What the hell's going on? And you just enjoy it. So I had a great time. The film isn't even that long as well. It's like at 90 minutes. It's perfect for runtime. It's perfect just to, throw it on with your mate and just enjoy it. It's just a fun film.
I'd agree. I feel like it has a lot to offer. It's like when I initially heard about this premiering at Sundance, I thought that it might take more of like almost documentary look approach where you're looking from at them from afar, and it's a lot of like still shots, not really motivated camera motion and stuff like that. And when I watched the film, I was pleasantly surprised that there's a like narrative drive within those scenes where we slowly get to learn a bit more about these really wild creatures. And I liked it because it's very simple. It's very obviously, they have basic needs, but then you can also relate to it on like the smallest scale of like their struggles, and like you said, how quickly sometimes just shit hits the fan and you just gotta adjust, and that's your life now. And I feel like it does that in a way that if this were humans, you'd have to have a different approach about it, but because they're not even able to express themselves verbally, it just makes for an interesting film that I'm glad exists. It's weird as fuck, but it's certainly entertaining, and I found it quite funny as well.
I think my favorite part about this film is that it's primarily sitting at like a 3-star rating, and I think that it is like a really like perfect example where I completely agree with people who go 3 stars, and I completely agree with people who go 3.5. Anyone who kind of sits at a 2.5, I just don't think they kind of enjoy the film as much as what it can give. But I think that this film is predominantly just positive. It's good. It's not it's not going to change your fucking life, but it's just enjoyable, and that's the best part about it. It's a film that doesn't demand you be absorbed into it.
It's also not a film that I would recommend to everyone. This is like a 2024 film you'd have to see.
I'm recommending this film to everyone.
It's more like if you are intrigued by that premise, where it's also a bit more than just looking at wildlife in a way, and these creatures that the US public is constantly debating if they exist or not. The ending as well, I'm not going to spoil it here. I feel like it's also like pretty sweet. It's like an odd ending to have to just end there. I also like that it's not about the approach of look, their territory is constantly being taken away. This is nature going against them. It's more just about their lives and the struggles that they have within them. It doesn't need to have like a bigger thing to say in it. It's just like their lives. And I found that oddly refreshing when you always have like a plot thing where there's something hugely existential that goes beyond our core group, where they have to fight for something, or this stays simple. And I like it for it.
I think it's really funny because there was a film this week that I thought was going to be more environmentally conscious and give you themes, and I thought that was going to be this film. It's not. Evil Does Not Exist is way more in line with nature and preserving it and those themes, where I thought that was going to take a bit more of the back burner. But either way, I completely agree with your statement there.
Ratings wise, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5, and it's the same for you, Lachlan, or are you landing?
No, I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5. I like how we both agree.
Yeah,
that's cute.
That's nice.
When we both agree.
Yep.
I think it's nice when
Very
we
cute.
both agree on something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instead of arguing all the time
about how wolves is just two old guys and I don't care.
I don't care.
Anyways, that's it for Sasquatch Sunset. The movie is now available for premium VOD, so you can go get it now. I think you can also rent it. It's not just buy, so it should be pretty affordable. I see it for like $6, and I think it would be worth your money there.
Boy Kills World is a film that Ewan finally caught up with that I saw a few weeks ago in cinemas, coming from the mind of Moritz Muir. Butchering his name, I do apologize. When his family is murdered, a deaf mute named Boy escapes to the jungle and is trained by a mysterious shaman to represent his childish imagination and becomes an instrument of death. Stars Bill Skarsgård, Jessica Roth, and Michelle Dockery. Ewan, I would love to hear what you think about this film, because you were super excited for it.
Well, I feel like you're getting stuff twisted there. I remember us having a look at the trailer, and I already had my reservations about does this work, because this movie is has Bill Skarsgård as, I guess, Boy. It's really the name that they went with, trying to stay as simple as possible on this. A guy who has trauma in his past stays boy-like, although he ends up being very violent because he's trained that way. And he has like a movie trailer voice from the 2010s in there in his head that's narrating what he's thinking, because he can't speak. He's also deaf. I appreciated some of the action in this, and then it usually even fumbled the action, in my opinion, because it stayed on it too long. It didn't use like just the best beats, but it had that like it just wanted to stay longer and do more, and then towards the end there, it wants to have like a big plot revelation. And I feel like at the core, this movie was just such a mess, and a lot of it felt like an afterthought of adding voice lines. Maybe they noticed, oh, it's very quiet. I assume they always had planned the lines that they're going to say in his mind before. It just didn't come together for me, and I thought this movie was trying to be funny, and it was very unfunny. The action was one of the redeeming parts of it, but even that didn't blow me away. And yeah, overall, it's just like a pretty disappointing product that could have been quite interesting. But Lachlan, you loved it though.
Yeah, I loved it so much that I gave it 1.5 stars. I loved it to the point where I could not love it anymore. Like a child who commits sin. I have no idea.
And then you have to train it into a death machine.
Then you have to train it into a death machine. Look, this film, I agree, has a lot of potential. There's a lot of really fun, exciting ideas, unique ideas that are unfortunately not... It feels like he hasn't been told no. It feels like the director has been told yes to every idea, and every single other person who came up with an idea, they also went, yes, you may also get to do that as well. And then they were like, hey, I have an idea here. And they're like, yes, we can do that as well. And the problem is, too much of something is bad for you. That is a fact, right? Water, very important thing. Too much water, you die, right? Food, very important thing. Too much food, you die, right? Shelter. You need shelter. If you have too much, I don't know, that one doesn't work as well. But same thing with this. The action is just too much all the time. What's his name? Really funny thing. I kept calling him L. Ron Hubbard instead of what's his name? R.H. Benjamin. What's his name? H. John Benjamin, right? H. John Benjamin, who's the voice. He does Bob's Burgers, Archer, all that jazz. Yeah. Right. He's the voice of Boy, right? I kept calling him L. Ron Hubbard for whatever reason, right? Because his name is H. John Benjamin. L. Ron Hubbard was the founder of Scientology, which I found really funny because I kept saying his name instead of H. John Benjamin's when I was trying to quote. I'll be like, oh yeah, it's got that guy. And they're like, who's this guy? And I was like, no, from Archer. And they're like, you mean H. John Benjamin? I was like, yeah, that's the way I said, right? They're like, you said L. Ron Hubbard. And I was like, oh, that's embarrassing. But this film is just too much all the time. It's in your face. It's too over the top. It's too crazy. It's too much action. It's too much everything. And that is unfortunately its biggest downfall. In my Letterboxd review, I watched it the same week as I watched Fall Guy, which I think did action and story better. And I also watched Rebel Moon Part 2 Scargiver, which did everything worse, which is why I gave Boy Kills Well 1.5 stars.
I also gave it 1.5 stars. One thing that I do want to mention here is that you have someone like Yayan Rurian, who, by the way, sorry for our pronunciations in all of our reviews ever. But, he was in the Raid films. He was a standout in those. He was in the third John Wick film. He's like one of the two that goes up against him, I think, on the like level 3 or 4 of the like staircase fight there. Epic fights, like amazing stunt artist and martial artist. And it was obvious that like he needs to have some kind of fight scene. If it didn't get like a bigger thing with him, it would have been such a waste. And that scene, I feel like, is one of the highlights. Like, I would rate this movie even lower if there wasn't that scene with him where they fight towards the end there. And but even that scene, like I said, is goes on for too long. There's too many like stabs and fights, and it gets too brutal for it to keep going. Although maybe that seemed a bit more realistic, that they end up cutting each other, but it doesn't overall find its tone well. Like how brutal it wants to get, how serious it wants to stay, like what this world even is that they're like born into. The twist is really dumb, and I still don't really get how that fully makes sense. It just like it's pretty dumb overall, and you need to have dumb fun to justify dumb. Ultimately, I feel like this movie's just dumb. So yeah, 1.5 star for me as well. Evil Does Not Exist comes from Ryosuke Hamaguchi, who a couple of years ago won Oscars. No, just one Oscar for Drive My Car. Now it's like undercutting. Just the one Oscar, okay? Just
you only won one Oscar. That's more Oscars than us combined.
Well, what about us? Yeah, no, combined. How many do we have combined, Lachlan, between the two of us?
We have 0.
Well, it was worth. Maybe we do have more. But this is right back in his I guess mid-year here, where we get a story that's pretty slow moving. And the more and more I read about the actual filmmaking behind it, the more the film made sense to me. I caught this one back in Venice, and I feel like it's a movie that's gonna sit with you. And I guess, let's read the logline to have a kind of understanding of what the story is about. So it's about Takumi and his daughter Hana, who live in Mitsubiki village close to Tokyo. One day, the village inhabitants become aware of a plan to build a camping site near Takumi's house, offering city residents a comfortable escape to nature. And that's a core plot of the film. And I feel like a lot of it is environmentalism, to figure out the place of the modern man who comes from the city to relax in nature. Is that like what the goal was here for the city planners? Is also a way to keep those small little towns alive as more and more people move to the cities, and less people are around there. They're not sustainable anymore, and you see these little small towns in Japan die off. I actually like watched a documentary on this, and it was quite interesting that like I get like even the premise here makes a lot of sense. So ultimately this movie comes from a place where everything feels very lived in. None of the moments feel like constructed. There's a ton of characters in the film that are just like side characters that feel very authentic, and it's usually not what other people can bring to a film, that it feels like very real and close to reality. And I really appreciated it for it. And I mean, this movie starts off with like several moments of, I guess, the daughter, which we later find out, just looking at the sky, walking through the forest and seeing the branches. So it's a very meditative experience. Like when you first watched Drive My Car, you said you were really not in the mood for it. So knowing what you can kind of expect from Hamaguchi, how was your second film of his?
I'm still really unsure if I like his films.
Yeah.
I was much more positive with this one because I was engaged the entire time, but this is only my second viewing of one of his films. I did say to you that I really would like to give Drive My Car another go to see if I like it, and I think I would also have to give this film another shot because I rated it highly, but I feel like I should bring it down because I really don't get it. Is that a
That's
dumb thing
fair.
to say? I don't.
No, it's
get...
not. Because, like, what part of it did you not get it by the end, or did you have a sense of not getting it the whole way through?
So when I was watching, I was like, "What?" I was following the story, but I was like, "Where is it going? What are we?
Yeah.
What is?" I'm trying to find characters' purpose, right? I'm trying to find what these characters are doing, and when you have these main characters whose only purpose really is to oppose this glamping setup that's going through, that's the only drive I've got from them to do anything. Nothing else is revealed to me, and I got frustrated with it. I think I just need to rewatch it again and sit down and, because like for me, I muted the film at one point and I was just looking at the subtitles. I was just watching it and it was just pretty, right? And I have to admit, I was following it better by not listening and reading subtitles. I was following the visual storytelling and I was really enjoying it. And that was my favorite part. Visually, it is great. And maybe I just don't like his writing. Maybe that's the issue. Because I know that Drive My Car is massively praised for its writing, its screenplay, and it's one of the best screenplays apparently like ever. In terms of like dialogue and between the two characters. Maybe I just don't like the dialogue with the characters in this film and that film, even though there's not a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't put my finger on it. I liked it though. I enjoyed this film. I thought it was great. I gave it 4 stars, I think. I gave it 4 stars, which is wild for me not knowing anything like thematically what this film was about, not really getting it, watching the ending and going, what? Like, did you see my review?
Yeah.
Did you see my review on Letterboxd?
It's just what?
It's just what?
What?
I gave it 4 stars.
You're not alone with the ending. I feel like that's where a lot of people are just kind of confused, because it also has like a title that, invites discussion, and you feel like there's going to be something about, what is evil? Does it exist or does it not exist? And I don't think it's really about that on the forefront, because you're just kind of following these characters or these people without having like a huge plot drive, or they're making character progressions, because they come in, especially like Alita Takumi, who just has an opinion, and he's not going to like move away from that opinion or like change in any sort of big way. And I don't know if that's like to his fault, or if we should judge him, or if the ending should say that maybe he was in the wrong or in the right, or he was neither, because that's just life, and life can be random. I don't really like the ending. I feel like I would have liked this movie even more, and I gave it also a 4 star. I think I would have liked this movie even more if the ending wasn't as ambiguous in what it was going for. And I feel like it doesn't fully close the circle on what he wants to go for. But looking at interviews and hearing him speak about the film, from what I could gather, it essentially came out of creating the music for this film by just shooting stuff in this village and in that location for a bit, and then kind of coming up with the story as like an afterthought, and like you could kind of build on top of it. And then like the lead actor, Hitoshi Omika, was more of like a stand was a stand-in in what he said for the scenes, and then he just said that like it felt like he made a ton of sense as the character, so he just wrote him into it, or wrote for him, and like that's just such a different approach to screenwriting. And I don't know if we can kind of link that back to maybe why it doesn't feel like it's moving much along the story, because we spent like I think like there's a longer sequence where it's just like chopping wood, right? And that's the whole thing. There's not nothing else going on. So I found this movie like really relaxing and quite engaging, even though it doesn't really do that much. And I'm perplexed by it. I feel like I unfortunately didn't have a chance to watch it since Venice. So I feel like I need another watch, but it has stayed with me all these months, and we just screened it at the theater that I work at as well, and the reactions to it have been very interesting. to what people think it was actually about. So to me, like, that's an engaging piece of art, and I feel like this is more an art piece than it is a movie. And yeah, I'm gonna stick with my 4-star rating. I will be rewatching it, but he's a filmmaker, is always active, so maybe there's another reason to give it another rewatch by the time his next one rolls around. I like it, but I'm confused. That's my sentiment. Anyways, we have one last movie to do, and it feels like appropriate for you to introduce that because it takes place down under.
Down under. That was me trying to do an Australian accent. Down under.
I'm pretty bad at that. You just stick with American, like your native tongue.
I'm not going to do an American accent. No, I'm not going to embarrass myself like that. Don't try to get me like that. Anyone But You by Will Gluck. After an amazing first date, Bea and Ben's fiery attraction turns ice cold until they find themselves unexpectedly reunited at a destination wedding in Australia. So, they do what any two mature adults would do. Pretend to be a couple.
Haven't you done that countless times whenever you get invited to a wedding and then you're like, ooh, they're trying to set us up, but we don't want to be set up, but maybe we do, but we don't know. But anyways, we're two hot people, so that's very entertaining to watch.
No, because I've only ever been to 2 weddings in my entire life, but thank you.
I think as well, dude, today we are just in sync when it comes to ratings, when it comes to anything.
Weddings,
the number of wedding attendance.
Wait, hang on. On the count of 3, let's say a random number.
Okay.
All right? Between 1 and 10.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3. 7.
7. Oh my god! No! What
the fuck? No way! No way.
That is crazy.
This is wild.
Well,
didn't see
I
that
don't
one
want to
coming.
This is better
no,
than the movie.
God, no. Let's keep doing this. All right, on the count of 3, let's say a random letter in the alphabet. No, I'm kidding.
No. The 1 in 10 chance I'll take over this. Which, by the way, we can't proof this in any sort of way, but that was not prepared or...
not scripted. Not in the show notes. Not a non-scripted moment.
That's crazy.
Sorry, let me just list who stars in this film, because there's a lot of people. All right, Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell, Mia Artemis, Nat Brushanan, Josh Bonello, Jatta. That's the whole name, Jatta, like Beyonce.
Yeah.
Jatta.
Davonte Gardner, and he goes by Gatta.
Cool. Alexandra Shipp and Hadley Robinson.
Yep, that's the cast of the movie that we watched. And yeah, so it's a wedding that they attend. And yeah, look, Sydney Sweeney, obviously someone who's very famous right now, the big talk around her, putting her in a rom-com where she gets to do a bit more than, I guess, just be traumatized by, what's his name? Tall guy, Jacob Elordi, is like a change of pace for her. Also Australian. Glenn Powell, obviously, I don't think you could be less Australian. Sydney Sweeney, although Sydney is in her name, not Australian.
Yep, not Australian.
I feel like this movie is held up a bit by how charismatic Glenn Powell is, less so Sydney Sweeney. I don't think she really works in this type of plot that doesn't really have a plot, but it's all about like the romantic tension between the two. And I gotta say, this is probably like Glenn Powell's weakest role as well. And I don't completely blame them. It is just that the screenplay is so bad. It's just not good. It's just really bad. That I don't know what you could do to make it better. It's very camp, it's the type of audience that you'll find that watches a lot of reality TV that's going to say like, oh my god, finally a good rom-com again. That's kind of that's your target audience. It is unfortunately, well, no, for me, fortunately, not me. Lachlan, did you have a good laugh with this one, or did you just sit there not reacting to this?
You know what?
Like,
I actually did. I actually had a great time with this film.
Okay.
I actually found it quite funny. There were moments where I laughed and I was uncomfortable, and I thought the movie did a great job with that. I was just offended by how dumb it made Australians look, but you know what?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Get over it. It's like,
get over
Australians don't really hold a grudge for that long, I guess.
The worst part is how they misuse Australian water safety helicopters, like rescue helicopters, in the film.
They do it twice, don't they?
Yeah. And it's like, that won't fly. You're wasting resources. That costs. Okay, so they're Americans, right? But that's my tax-paying money. My tax-paying money that they're wasting.
Will Gluck, did you hear that? He's spending his tax-paying money.
Every time Glenn Powell jumped in water to be rescued by the rescue chopper, I cried a little bit because that's my tax money.
Yeah, and look, it also screams just rich couple, which a lot of these rom-coms are just like, at least one of them is like super rich. They don't have any other concerns in their lives, which you don't need to make it about them. Both of them were broke?
I think they were both. I think that everyone in this entire movie was rich.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw a single poor person.
Exactly. And it's just like, to me, makes it, not that you need any like material inequality that they need to suffer from for their love to shine through, but it just rings so hollow when there's nothing relatable about this. Like, you got two incredibly hot people on a destination wedding.
Movie.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the two of us.
Yes,
and
two of us.
I don't know what it is with these rom-coms, but they are just like such a... They're more fantasy than some Lord of the Rings movies. It's in moments. And they're just like, they live for the bits, that spider bit. Would that be a protocol as well as an Aussie, to strip down and throw your clothes off a cliff when you feel like there might be a spider on you?
No, because spiders are afraid of you just as much as you're afraid of them. So, I feel like by the time the spider's on your leg, you should be feeling that if you're in shorts. There is absolutely no way you won't feel a spider crawl up somewhere.
But what if it wants to have a grab of your juicy booty?
So my big thing was, like, Sydney Sweeney was like really grabbing Glenn's ass in that, and I'm surprised that she didn't get bit sooner. Which, fun fact, she did get bit on set by a spider in that scene. Which is
that scene.
In that scene.
That's crazy.
Because it's the only scene where there's a spider, so I'm assuming that was it. But essentially, there should have been some sort of reaction to the spider. Spiders won't bite you unless there's pressure. Like, that's it.
Well, aren't there like the ones down in Sydney that are like the ones in the ground that are quite aggressive? The funnel web?
Trapdoor spiders.
Trapdoor spiders, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. You just gotta watch out, And
the brown snakes, aren't they? Like,
why do people think Australians walk around blind? Like, oh no, I'm in a spider web. Like, that's not how it happens. Like, I'm gonna avoid.
I have walked into spider webs countless times because they're usually pretty invisible.
Yeah, but you haven't had a spider attack you.
Yeah, but the ones that the ones that have the golden ones,
golden orb spiders.
Yeah, they're like
the big boys.
Web is pretty thick. They're pretty, but aren't they like ones that have like pretty thick? And here the ones that make like they have like the erectile dysfunction type of shootout there when it comes to web. It's just like very, very thin. You couldn't really see it. So you walk into spider webs quite frequently here.
I don't understand.
I didn't walk into a spider web in Australia, by the way. I never got bitten. I never had a scare. I accidentally got this close to like a what's it called, not red scarlet, like the redback spider or red dot spider.
Oh, they're whatever. They're redbacks.
And they're like tiny. They're like tiny. And I mean, they're pretty dangerous when they bite you, but like they're not aggressors. But we should talk about Australian wildlife and not about anyone but you. I feel like that makes a more interesting conversation.
Let's move on then.
I think the main good thing that I saw a lot of people praise was how much fun they seem to have had when they did the lip sync in the credits there. And I think that's fun, when the whole production seems like there was a lot of fun to be had around there. And I don't know. Felt like the best directed moment there was like getting them to do the lip syncing in all of those different settings. And the movie itself was a bit of a nothing new, nothing special. But I did chuckle a couple times, Lachlan. Your rating is we are now finally diverging here in our ratings because Yeah, what did you give it?
3 stars.
And I gave it 1.5 stars. I really did not like it. I'm a bit of a hater, but hey, if you have a VPN or you are from the States, then you can go check this one out on Netflix in the States. But I would save that Netflix US subscription to next week when you can go check out Hitman, also starring Glenn Powell. It's also steamy. It's also so much sexier than this film. So yeah. That would be my recommendation. Yeah, Lachlan, I guess we don't have a double feature this week. So instead of that, between those 4 films that we just covered, which one would you recommend the most?
Ooh, it's a hard one because Evil Does Not Exist is still... Fuck it. Sasquatch Sunset.
Yeah.
I think if you have time, go watch Sasquatch Sunset. I think you might agree with me with that one.
No, I'll definitely go anyone but you. I'll put that one. No, I'll go with Evil Does Not Exist, although I would recommend Sasquatch Sunset. They're both, Sasquatch and Evil are both like not accessible to if you just want something to put on and watch. I feel like with Sasquatch and Evil, you can have both in the background. Evil Does Not Exist, you can have on mute and it looks pretty. And with Sasquatch, if you peek over and then just see someone going and it just fart and then shit, that's what you see. It's like, it's a different type of experience, but yeah, they're both worth checking out. Then I have a couple more films and shows that I'm just gonna briefly say. Stuff about Atlas, horrible, with Jennifer Lopez in there. Thought it was kind of a mix of like, if you feed really truly the first time where that criticism would be justified in calling something AI written, because it feels like a mix up between Aliens and Blade Runner and then a couple other sci-fi properties mixed within. It's just a good old mess. I gave that a 1 star out of 5. If the movie that we ended up missing because I was attending Gun was not worth, I guess, covering, because I gave it a 1.5 star as well. Just really empty and bad. I don't know. I was surprised how bad this movie from John Krasinski can be. So hopefully he stays better with the Quiet Place movies. Abbott Elementary wrapped its 3rd season. It was a shorter one due to the strikes. They didn't do like a 20 plus episode series. They did 14, but they're all really solid. I feel like there's 1 or 2 that I would say, it's a bit of a skip. The show is less about the overarching stories. I feel like that's one of the weaker links of the romance stuff that they want to set up at times, but it is consistently funny. It's very well written and performed. So if you've been sleeping on Abbott, go give that a try. And then the 1st season of X-Men 97 just wrapped, and people have been loving this one like crazy. If you look at the ratings on IMDb, all of them have the tag of top rated on there. The finale was kind of crazy. I don't know if I was vibing with it, but the series has like a lot of death in there as well, which I wasn't expecting, and it's quite well animated. If you're an X-Men fan, then you're eating good with this one. But yeah, that's all the stuff that I watched, that we watched. And to close out the show, let's have a look at what's releasing this week. First up, out in cinemas on June 7th, we got Bad Boys Ride or Die, the 4th movie in this franchise. We'll see if we end up talking about that one next week. Probably just a what we've been watching short review from my end. Then we got The Watchers. This is the movie from M. Night Shyamalan's offspring, Ishana. She got an old film here. I know every time I've been addressing it, I've like phrased it in a really weird way so far, and I'm really sorry about that. The movie could be decent to me. I'm not too confident in it. And then in the States, I don't know if this is also something for you in Australia, but Lachlan, Lord of the Rings from June 8th to the 10th is getting re-released. I think it's also the director's cut, so that's quite exciting if you want to see that on the big screen. And then out on VOD and on digital this week, we finally got Godzilla -1. I might even have to give that one a respin, because the only time I got to see this was at a press screening on a tiny projector with a big old watermark and in a really low bit rate. So I had like the worst experience to watch this film. And I think I also dozed off a couple times because I was pulling an all-nighter before I went to that press screening. So I'll give this another try. I think I gave the film like a 6 out of 10. And that was a bit low compared to what other people saw in it. So I will be rewatching Godzilla -1. Lachlan, maybe you as well, and we'll talk about it next week. We'll see. Then Back to Black is out on premium VOD, as well as The Old Oak, the film from Gunn last year that I liked a bit more than Lachlan did. He really didn't like this one. Yeah, and then also Am I Okay? The film with Dakota Johnson that premiered at Sundance is releasing on Max. And then Perfect Days is streaming on Hulu. Another shout out to my favorite film of last year. And then Hitman. It's been out in theaters for the last, I think, 2 weeks. Now it's coming out on Netflix in the US. Apparently also in some other English-speaking markets. It said so on Letterboxd. I'm not entirely sure where it will end up, but hey, just get a VPN. I assume everyone has Netflix, because like, who hasn't? And then go give Hitman a spin. It's a bit of a pity that not more people get to see this one in theaters. Here in Switzerland, it comes out in the middle of August. So I guess I'll give it a rewatch with an audience again then. But I can't wait. Next week, we're going to talk about Glenn Powell, movie star in Hitman, from Richard Linklater. Then the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte are premiering, and the show is going to release weekly on Tuesdays from there on out. So yeah, another Star Wars show that the trailers weren't received very positively. Let's see how things are once the first couple of episodes are out. Then out in limited release in the States, we got Barnell and Adama, another gun film that Lachlan, you saw, right? So yeah, you got opinions
I've seen
on
it.
Yeah, he's seen it. It's thumbs up for me as well. Thumbs up for me as well. It's pretty decent film. And then the Rachel Sennett's film I Used to Be Funny is out in limited release as well. Then in Swiss theaters you can see Memory. I can recommend that one quite a bit as well. But that's also out on VOD for a while now. But hey, if you can, go see it on the big screen. And then another film that Lachlan saw that I still haven't seen, Inshallah Boy. You also caught this one in Cannes last year. Yeah, could you recommend it? Should people go see this one? Thought you were like somewhere in the middle on that one. He's looking up his Letterboxd review. I remember you gave it a 3 star.
I have Letterboxd, so I don't have to fucking remember everything. Inshallah, a boy. I gave it. Look at me, 3 stars. Thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up from Lachlan's end. Yeah, but that brings us to the end of the show this week. Like I said, next week we're going to be talking about Hitman, so go give that a try. My favorite movie of the year, even after Gun. I still have that at the top. Let's see if that changes. Maybe Anora will claim the top spot after I rewatch it, but it's a blast. Go grab some mates and have a good time with this one. Lots of laughs to be had. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.